What's up everybody? Welcome back to the Chemical Guys Detail Garage. Well, the day has finally come. This Toyota FJ is finally in the limelight. If you've been watching our channel, you've probably seen this thing sitting in the background collecting dust, but today is its day. We've been working on this car for about 5 years now. It's been a slow project, but it's a completely rebuilt, fully restored Toyota FJ. Starting off with a completely redone suspension and brakes. It has a 350 crate motor in there with a 4-speed manual transmission, completely brand new interior all the way from front to back, and also this kind of Nardo gray finish. So it's been painted, it's been wet sanded, and today we're going to show you how to properly polish a car that's been wet sanded, but also we've already done a few things to get it ready for that step. By washing it, we use Swift Wipe that removed that thick layer of dust that was sitting on top of the vehicle. Now, obviously the car's been sitting for years, but it's been indoors, so it wasn't exposed to a whole lot of contamination. So a quick wipe down using either a quick detail spray, your favorite detailer, or a waterless wash is an easy way to remove any of that abrasive particles of dirt or anything else that could be sitting on the surface. Now, we could have washed the vehicle, but we're in the middle of July right now, and it's kind of hot, so we didn't want to go outside and risk having water spots or risk the seals leaking because it's a freshly finished project, so we're not entirely sure of how tight things are quite yet, so we'll fine-tune those things later on, but for now, a waterless wash is the way to go. Then we give it a light clay bar treatment to remove any of the embedded contaminants because, like I said, even though it doesn't go outside, there's still things that could have sat there, gotten to the pores, and given it a rough finish. And it's good practice for whenever you're putting on a coating like C9 or sealant like Jet Seal or anything else. Before you polish, you want to remove anything that's on the surface so that you're not creating any kind of pigtails, and also so that your chemicals will stick properly to the surface. And then lastly, we wiped it all down using Wipeout. And what that does is it removes any body oils or remnants from your hands or fingerprints. This way you get the perfect result, whether you're polishing or adding any kind of coating, because the oils from your hands or body oils in general stick to the surface, and that can, one, clot scratches and swirls and hide them until you're completely done with your job, or else if you're putting on a coating, it's not going to adhere to that surface. You're missing an area. But to get the proper result, because this car has never been polished, it was just freshly wet sanded, we want to have as much of the impurities off the surface. So Wipeout's the way to go to, first of all, clean it off, prep the surface, just like an IPA would, and now we're going to get the best results while we're polishing. So today, we're going to be using our TORQ 10 effects with an orange Hex-Logic pad with V34. Now this vehicle has been painted and then wet sanded using a 2000 grit sandpaper, and that's left behind fine scratches, but it's also refined the finish. So it's taken out the fish eyes or impurities and also any kind of orange peel, so it has a very smooth, slick feeling. But to polish it and revive that finish, we're using V34. Now we can further refine the paint using a V36 and also V38, but we're going to start with V34 to show you guys just the huge difference that it's going to make, because as of right now, it has more of a matte finish, but it's supposed to be really glossy, kind of a Nardo gray finish. And the perfect way to remove any kind of imperfections like oxidation or scratches and swirls is by machine polishing. So without further ado, we'll set up our machine and then we can get on this baby. As I mentioned, we're going to be using our TORQ 10 effects. This has an 8mm throw. It's a dual action polisher, but the reason why we're going with this is because although this vehicle has a lot of flat panels, it also has a lot of body lines or coach lines. But basically, we don't want to add any kind of extra friction on areas where the paint's going to be thinner. So this is going to be an easy way to maneuver around small areas. You can also change backing plate sizes from 3 to 6, depending on what you're working with. But for the hood here, we'll stick with the 5-inch with our 5-inch Hex-Logic pad. And now we'll apply a few dots of the V34 compound. And as I mentioned, this has a grit range of 1500 to about 2000 grit. So it'll be perfect for taking out some of those wet sanding marks to restore the shine on this Toyota. And like I said, you can also refine it further using a finer polish or multiple passes. I also spray the pad with some polishing pad conditioner. This helps to moisten the pad so that it'll have some longevity, but it's also reducing some of the friction. It also kind of helps to cut down on some of the dusting that you get with a lot of compounds. But more importantly, it's going to help prevent any excess heat buildup, which can burn the paint. So now we'll start by blotching it out on the surface. And just like we do with any polish, we're going to go on the lowest speed setting to spread it out over the area we're working on. And a couple things if you've never polished before or you're new to polishing is, one, you want to keep the machine as flat as possible because obviously extreme angles create a lot of heat. But on a dual action polisher, if you're giving it too much angle, it'll stall the pad where you're actually not doing anything. It's just a waste of time. You're not polishing or correcting. And then another trick that a lot of people have difficulty with is keeping the pad completely centered. So I learned this from an old body shop guy, but he was saying that, you know, just like holding a hammer, if you put your thumb right here over the center, this will keep the machine pretty much straight. Off to the side, you'll either give it too much angle to either one side. So what I like to do is keep it right above the analog screen here. This will keep the machine nice and flat, perfectly centered. This way you're getting the best results every time. So I'm gonna turn the machine on, spread it out, and then on the high speed setting, we're gonna correct the paint here, give you guys a little before and after. Now that the V34 has gone basically clear, we can buff it off and show you guys the difference that a simple polish will do. And we can check and see if we need to go more aggressive or less aggressive to really refine the finish. Just taking a clean microfiber towel here, we'll buff it off nice and gently. And already you can see that's a pretty huge difference from before, but I think we can do a little bit better. So we'll give it another pass and then really bring out the shine of this Toyota. Already the paint has a really nice shine going to it, but I want to refine it even further. So I'm going to attach a green Hex-Logic pad, which is a heavy polishing pad to really get some of those fine scratches and swirls out. And I'm also going to be using some V36. Now that's a lot of your guys' go-to, my go-to polish to refine deep scratches and swirls. And just like we did with the V34, we shook up the bottle. We're going to apply a few dots to the pad. And then a couple mists of the pad conditioner, because again, this is going to help reduce some of that excess friction. This way we're not causing any kind of marring or any kind of defects. And also reduces any dusting. And again, we'll blotch it on the surface. And I bet you're wondering why we're not using a rotary or a microfiber pad, which you can also do, but for the sake of demonstration purposes, we're using the TORQ 10 effects today for the beginners or the novice polishers, just so we can all get a feel for how it is to refine the finish on a wet sanded vehicle as well as a car that has some moderate scratches and swirls. As you can see, after doing the two-step polish, there's been a huge transformation from how it looked before. I'm going to take the tape off just so you guys can get an overall effect of what it is to actually polish your vehicle and remove those deeper scratches and swirls. And now you can see that the side that was not polished has that matte sheen, and the side that we just corrected has this beautiful, nice reflective shine. So I'm going to finish off the rest of the vehicle. We've got a lot of work to do today. You guys just stay tuned. Alrighty guys, you can see that we just finished polishing this Toyota using V34 followed by V36. And the results speak for themselves. The truck looks great. It's got a beautiful shine to it, nice reflection, but now that we polish it, we want to protect it. But a few things we'll recap that we did. You saw that we're using the TORQ 10 effects with not only an orange pad, but also a green pad to refine the paint. And a couple things when you're polishing is to keep the machine perfectly flat. This way you're not creating an excess amount of heat in one area, which can cause marring. Now also, if you notice, as we were polishing, I was watching the edges because these are areas where the paint's very thin. And if you go against the edge with the rotation of the machine, you can cause a burn or it'll take the paint off. But by working with the rotation or with the edge, going in a clockwise motion, because all the machines spin clockwise, this is going to prevent the chances of harming the paint. So lastly, we want to protect the paint. Now, as I mentioned, polishing opens up the pores and that can cause fallout or contamination to quickly clot that surface, making it feel really rough, giving it a rough look. So I've chosen to go with Jet Seal, which is a nice layer of adding protection and shine for up to 12 months. Now again, I'm going to be using the TORQ 10 effects, and I've chosen a black Hex-Logic pad, which is a very soft finishing pad. You don't need to prep it or prime it with your pad conditioner or water because you're not cutting or you're not polishing. All you're doing is simply applying a fine coat of your favorite glaze, sealant, or wax. So I'm going to do this, and in the meantime, you guys can head over to our website, chemicalguys.com, to check these products for yourself. If you like this video or the FJ, give it a thumbs up, and as always, we'll see you guys next time right here in the Detail Garage.